Well, Nick Spall is a space writer and fellow of the Royal Astronomical Society here in the UK, and he joins us now. Thank you very much indeed for being with us, Nick. So it's a big comeback for Russia, isn't it? Can you tell us how significant this mission is?
Well, it is significant. As your correspondent said, it's the first one for almost 50 years. The last lunar mission from what was then the Soviet Union, of course, was Luna 24 back in 1976. It was a sample return mission and brought back a few grams of lunar soil. Of course, the Americans had beaten the Russians to, or the Soviet Union, to the moon with their Apollo program. That was a manned program. But it is significant in terms of Russia at last, after all these years, reinvigorating their lunar and hopefully interplanetary probes of the future. Now, of course, what we will see is, as your correspondent said, a little bit of a race going on to be the first to land on the lunar South Pole, this fascinating area where you get shadowed craters. Hopefully, for the future of the space exploration, they've got ice in them. If that's the case, if they can find good signs of ice, that could be very exciting for the future in terms of manufacturing water for the future lunar base explorers, and perhaps rocket fuel as well in the longer term, and then perhaps launching on towards Mars as the lunar missions being a stepping stone to the eventual exploration of Mars. So quite significant.
Yeah, very exciting. And how does it compare to the heyday of the USSR's space program? Is it quite a challenge for the Russians to kind of upskill again and get their mission back up and running, or was it all in fairly good condition?
Well, I mean, unfortunately, the gap really spoiled a lot of the momentum of the Russian lunar program. I mean, it's all down to budgets. Russia decided, or the Soviet Union, then Russia, decided they'd focus on Earth orbiting stations. And of course, they joined the Americans, joined NASA with the International Space Station, which is an international project. Russia have done significant work with it. And they've been launching crews to it via their Soyuz spacecraft. Now they seem to realize that there's more to just doing Earth orbit work, but it is budgets. The Russians only have a budget possibly of a quarter, 20% of the American budget, so they're well behind in funding these missions. What's interesting, though, as we heard earlier, is that India and, of course, China will be gradually accelerating their investment in lunar exploration. China will have Chang'e 8, which is due to launch there's going to be one in 2025, but there's going to be an important one in 2028, an uncrewed robot that will actually try and manufacture, if there is ice on the South Pole, the Aitken Basin, Shackleton Crater, they'll actually try and manufacture this important water resource. Down the line, we'll see, hopefully, international bases one day on the lunar South Pole, and that is where the lunar exploration really gets going, with crews living on the surface.
Fascinating stuff. We'll have to leave it there, though. Nick Spall, space writer and fellow of the Royal Astronomical Society in the UK. Many thanks indeed.